teaching you how to make your very own master sword out of paper. So let's get straight into the materials that you'll need. You'll need the templates for the handle of the sword as well as the blade, some scissors, some markers if you want to color the edges to help them blend in, some glue, and if you want you can use a craft knife just to help you cut out the tabs. And if you're using a craft knife you're going to want to use a cutting mat so you don't wreck your surface. And I printed my template out on 110-pound cardstock, which is what I use for all of my larger models and weapons, and it's also what I used for my life-size Lincoln Midna. So it's nice and sturdy. It's about 4 times as thick as normal printer paper, but you don't have to use as thick a paper. You just might, if you're not using as thick a paper, you might have to add more supports to make it a little stronger. So let's get to the first step. The first thing you're going to want to do is cut out the first 2 pages of the template as well as pieces 7 and 8. So cut out pieces 1 to 8. So here I have pieces 1 to 8, and we're going to start off with pieces 1 and 2. And we're going to begin by folding these outer tabs into a mountain fold. Now you're going to want to bend it down the center a little bit. Not too much, don't really fold it, more just bend it. And then bend these 2 inner tabs into a mountain fold as well. Nothing too drastic, just more of a bend. And then you want to do the same thing for this piece. Is bend it down the middle a bit. And then bend these 2 in. Then you can glue this piece to this piece. So these tabs here, like that. Then when we have that piece done, we can fold all of these tabs. Now, this one at the bottom on each piece, these ones are upside down. So these flat ones at the bottom don't need to be bent, but all of these other tabs are going to be mountain folds. So go ahead and do that for all of the tabs except those 4. Okay, now when you have all of those tabs folded, we're going to end up working our way from this point up. So we're going to end up gluing all of these pieces on. Like, normally you might glue, say, this and this all the way up on a piece while it's on this. But for the sword, we're going to glue all of these pieces on and then just glue the first tab all around. So glue the first tab on this piece and the first tab or the first 2 tabs on this piece all the way around, and then do the second tab and then the third tab when working your way up. So start off by finding the pieces that have 2 tabs on each side. Now for these pieces you can see that there's a line on one side. That line is going to be where this piece attaches to that one, and then the other tabs go to the other side, so then this piece. So make sure that this line is going to face inward to this point, and you can see that there's a line on this piece too, so just make sure that the lines are there. So start off by gluing all of these pieces, the first tab to here, down. You can also go ahead and glue the first tab of these 2 pieces together. Now that you have those glued on, you can take pieces 7 and 8 and start at the point, and you can glue the first 2 tabs because they're in line with this tab. So you can glue it up to there, but start off at the point and work your way up by tab pair, and then you can do the same for the other side. Now you can go ahead and cut out the rest of the template. So now that you have all of those pieces cut out, we're going to be continuing on with what we were doing here, going tab by tab. Now, the Triforce on the blade goes this way, so make sure it's the right way. And these tabs at the end here attach to that part on either side. So just continue on tab by tab until you get to the end, and then we'll go to the next step. Now with the rest of the pieces, all of these tabs are going to be mount and fold, so go ahead and fold all of the tabs. Also on each tab where this bend thing stops, you might want to shape it a bit, so fold it in there a little, and then you might just want to bend it around a little like that. It's the same for each one. Now, these pieces, they're angled in different ways. So these two are going to be going together because the tabs, like each piece has tabs on the lower half and then on the upper half that connect these two pieces together. Now, you're going to want to connect these using the same method of going one thing at a time. Connect them to the sides here and work your way up, and do that on both sides until you reach the top. Once you have the blade of the Master Sword finished, it's time to move on to the handle. The first thing that you're going to want to do is to cut out the first 2 pages of the handle template, so pieces 1 to 10. We're going to start off with pieces 1 to 4. So I've already colored the sides, so we're not going to worry about that, and we're just going to start on folding. So all of the tabs on all of these are going to be mountain folds. So folding inwards like that. So we can just go ahead and fold all the tabs. Okay, now when we have all of the tabs folded, you're going to take piece 1 and just kind of bend it here, and so mountain fold it kind of there, and just bend it in like that. Just bend it around, maybe fold it back there a little more bit, and do the same for piece 2. So you just want to mold it into a bit of a shape. Now you can go ahead and glue piece 1 to piece 2. Just like that all the way around. Okay, so when you have those two pieces glued together, you can glue 3 and 4 to either side. So here and here. And it doesn't matter which one, they're the very same piece, so you can glue either one on either side. Now that you finished that piece, it's time to work with the other pieces that we cut out, so 5 to 10. And we're going to start off with 5 and 6, which are these two pieces. And they're the very same piece, so we're going to be folding them the very same. So start with folding all of these tabs around the edges to a valley fold, so back on itself, like that. And then the rest of these tabs are all going to be mountain folds. And then the very same with this piece for this one. And you're also going to want to fold it here. Like that. Just bend it a bit to give it some shape. And then do the very same for this piece. You're also going to want to fold it back here and then just bend it right there a little bit for both pieces. Like that. So now we can glue these two pieces onto this one. So it doesn't matter what side, they're the very same. So these two tabs are going to be glued here, and then this rounded part's going to be glued in here. So like that. You can just go ahead and do that. Okay, now when you have those glued on, you can fold 7 to 10. So each one is going to have a fold right here, like that, on each one. And these two pieces with the tabs, they're all going to be mountain folds. You can just go ahead and fold all of that. Now it doesn't really matter what order you put these on, like obviously these two are going to glue together on each side. So the sides with the tab that don't have tabs are going to be glued to these two because they do. So it doesn't really matter what order you put them on, but I recommend you end with a piece that doesn't have any tabs on it because it'll be easier to glue down. So you can go ahead and glue all of those on. Now you can go ahead and cut out the next two pages of pieces, so pieces 11 to 22. Alright, starting off with pieces 11 and 12, we're going to start off with 11 and fold it. So this tab's going to be a mountain fold, so you bend that, and then all of these are going to be valley folds. So bend them upwards. Now for piece 12, the larger curved side is going to be mountain folds along with the end one here, and then all of these ones are going to be valley folds. So the larger outside, mountain, the inside, valley, and the end, a mountain. So go ahead and fold all of those. Okay, now for piece 11, we're going to be gluing this to the bottom of this piece. So you can start off with one of the side pieces and just glue it around and then attach it to itself when it's all the way around. So in like that. Now piece 12 is going to glue to piece 11 the very same way, so going around with this larger edge glues to piece 11. So around like that, the very same. So go ahead and glue that. So now that you have that built, we're gonna keep on working with the pieces from the same page. So pieces 13 to 16. And all of these tabs are going to be mountain folds, so go ahead and fold them all first. Now, of the 4 pieces, they glue together, so the one piece that has the tabs and one piece that doesn't have the tab are going to be glued together. But before you glue them together, you're going to want to glue them onto this, which they glue on the tabs that aren't lined up. So the tab that's lined up you see here with the front, the flat side of the handle of the sword, they're gonna be on the side, so these 2 tabs. So, like, these 2 on this side, and then the other 2 on the other side here. So go ahead and glue those on. Now we can start with the rest of the pieces that we cut out. So pieces 17 to 22. And we're going to start off with pieces 17 and 18, which are the very same piece, just for either side. And so we're going to start off by bending all of these tabs to a mountain fold. And we're going to do the very same thing for both pieces. Now we can glue those 2 on. So we're going to be gluing them to the tabs of the pieces that we just glued onto this. So this piece at the top, and then all around the edges, like that, on both sides. So go ahead and do that for both pieces. Okay, so now we can work on pieces 19 and 20. So both of these pieces again are the very same. So all of these tabs here are going to be valley folds with the exception of the 2 end ones. And so we can go ahead and fold all of the tabs. And you also might want to bend it a little bit, like that. And then do the very same for this piece. And now these pieces are going to be glued to the piece we just glued on, inside, like that. So you're not going to really end up seeing this piece. It's kind of like a it's a fold in. So you can go ahead and glue those two on to either side. Now for the final two pieces, you're just going to bend this tab into a mountain fold on both pieces, like that. And then these two are going to be stuck to the inside here, like that, on both sides. So go ahead and glue those in. Once you have all of that glued together, you can go ahead and cut out the next page, so pieces 23 to 28. So here I have the pieces cut out, and we're going to start off with pieces 23 and 24. So first we're going to bend these tabs into a valley fold, like that. Now all these other tabs are mountain folds. So you can go ahead and do that for both pieces. These pieces are going to be glued on either side of here, and these two tabs that are mountain folds are going to be glued to here and here on each side. So it's going to go in there, around there, and then it's going to glue to itself. So glue it here, go around, but don't glue it to itself yet, and then do the same thing for that side. Not gluing it here, but not attaching it together. So once we have those pieces glued on, we can start with building the gem. So we're going to take the actual stone piece and we're going to bend it down the middle a little bit. Then bend these three tabs to a mountain fold. Then the rest of the tabs are valley folds. Now you can go ahead and glue these three tabs to this side. So, like that. So once you have that glued together, we're going to take this piece and fold all of these tabs to a mountain fold. Now when you have that folded, you're going to attach this piece to the stone, like that, all the way around, and then attach it to itself. Okay, now when you have that glued to there, you're going to glue this piece to this one. So, in like that, and then attach this together. And then, when you're finished gluing that, you're going to do the very same thing for the other side. Now you can go ahead and cut out the last two pages, which each page is one of the wings of the sword. So here I have all of the pieces for one of the wings. So we're going to start with this really large piece here. And start by bending it at the bottom here. So to this tab. And the same on this side. The corner here to the edge of that tab. Then you can fold all of these tabs all the way along here into a mountain fold. So now take this big piece and glue these tabs to this side. So it'll go like that. Now taking piece 30, we're going to glue it to this side. So glue it on this tab, all here, like that. And then do the very same thing on the other side, but with 31. And when you have those two glued on, we're going to take pieces 32 and 33 and fold all of the tabs to a mountain fold. And when you have that done, 32 is going to be glued here, around like that, and 31 is going to be on the other side. So go ahead and glue those two on. Now for the final piece of the wing. We're going to bend these two tabs to a valley fold, glue them to the other side, and then glue this on top here. So go ahead and do that. Okay, now you're going to do the very same thing for the other wing. Now that you have both sides done, it's time to attach it to the main body. So you're going to put generous amounts of glue on the tabs on both sides, and then place it about there on each side. So right lined up with the edge where it curves down there a bit, you're going to put the bottom there, and it'll fit nicely, so you'll know where to put it. So do that for both sides. Now that you have the blade and the handle of the Master Sword done, it's time to finish it off by gluing the two pieces together. So put lots of glue on the tabs on the inside of the two jewels of the Master Sword, and then just slip that on to the blade. And there you have your finished Master Sword.